Hey there, Hammer fam. Welcome back to HammeredHead. This is a really fun one today. It's the Imperial Remnant AT-RT from The Mandalorian and Grogu, one of the new vintage collection releases. Finally got this guy in the mail. Took Hasbro Pulse pretty much forever to get him to me. But I'm glad I got him. Thing looks awesome. Really cool box art on the front here. See, it comes with an Imperial Remnant AT-RT driver. Just gonna look really awesome, I think. A lot of great pictures. Photos are all around the box. There's a lot going into this packaging, which is, I think that's really cool. Really appreciate that. Cool image on the side here, and then an action shot over here, blasting off the cannon. Let's see. Bottom of the box, we have sort of a display of the flexibility of this thing, which is really cool. And then on the back, pretty much the same art. And then we just get a picture of everything that comes included. So actually only a few different accessories, nothing crazy it looks like, but I think that the overall design on this is going to be really fun. I really liked the opening scene of this movie when we get to see this stuff in action. It was really fun. Definitely felt like a great little adventure. So I'm excited to open this guy up. Let's take a look. So when you open the box, you just slide this little thing right out. It's got everything packed in right here. And then the figure itself is actually just cardback, just kind of stuck in there with these tabs, which is nice. So let's go ahead and start disassembling all this. Took it all out of the packaging. We can just take a look at the individual parts here. And we'll start off with the carded figure. Really great shade of sort of violet on the back there. I really like that. I like that they've sort of been experimenting with colors a little bit lately. And I think this is a really, really nice color. Looks awesome just in general, but I think it works for this figure really well. And then the image itself is pretty dope. Looks a little computer generated, but I like all the sort of environment in the background. Looks really great. Obviously unpunched, and then we get Mando and Grogu name pillow there. Cool pose with the figure here. VC396. Imperial Remnant AT-RT driver, the Mandalorian and his young apprentice Grogu embark on a thrilling adventure as they travel the galaxy. There, generic write-up on the back there. But yeah, great packaging for the figure. And then we get the actual AT-RT parts. So looks pretty simple to assemble. Just gotta snap the legs on. Let's do that now. Oof. Okay. There we go. And yep, stands up pretty well on his own. We get little blast effects here. I don't know if it matters which one goes where, but very nice. And then here's the stand, which looks pretty simple to assemble as well. Just put the little crescent shaped piece in here. There we go. And then on the bottom here, there should be somewhere to plug it in. Yep. The little ball joint there. Oh yeah, it goes in really easy. And then, let's see. This part does move, so it's pretty simple to pose that however you want. So there's everything all assembled. Let's take a closer look at the figure, and then we can mount him on the AT-RT and take a close look at the whole thing. Dope. So here's the driver out of the packaging. Looks pretty cool for the most part. I think he's kind of like a mix of a patrol trooper and a range trooper. Or maybe I'm just imagining that, but overall I think it looks cool. Great design. Only comes with the one accessory, and really my biggest complaint is just that he does not hold this pistol well at all. The trigger finger is way too far forward, and the fingers are just not really sculpted well to get the handle in there. So it looks kind of goofy when he holds it, but you know, whatever, he's going to be driving the AT-RT most of the time anyway, so that's fine. And then he does have a holster for it where you can store it. Let's see if it fits. Yeah, so it'll stick in there decently enough. Figure itself though looks really cool. I like the sort of off-white, almost ivory coloring that he has. Looks really, really dope. Great sculpt on the head. A little lacking on the paint apps, I think. Lacking is the wrong word. Maybe just sloppy. I don't know. It just looks like the black paint is kind of smeared in a couple places. But if you're looking at it from a distance, you can't really tell. Overall, I think that the head looks really dope. Some lines here and there. And then torso armor is sculpted and painted really nicely. These shoulder pads are sort of attached just on a soft plastic piece there, so it doesn't impede the shoulder movement, which is nice. It's got this cool painted thing on his back, and it does come off for some reason if you wanted to display him without it. So that's something, I guess. And then down here we got soft goods. Camo looks really great. I love the holster, the way it's sort of sculpted on there. Looks pretty legit. Legs are pretty basic for the most part, but the boots are really sculpted nicely, I think. That looks really cool. And then, yeah, the belt, I don't know if I talked about that. The belt is cool. It's got a little knob painted on there. Its pouch is sculpted nicely. So, yeah, overall, I think this is a fantastically sculpted figure. Really, really nice. I think he looks awesome. Unfortunately, he is a modern articulated figure, which we'll need in order to get him on the ATRT. But we got a ball head there, ball shoulders that go a little past 90 there. Elbows go just shy or just past 90. We got a hinge wrist. Swivel waist, which could use a little bit more movement, but it's not the worst. Barbell hips. Cut at the thigh. Ball knees go about 90. And rocker ankles that move very well. So I don't think we're gonna have any issues getting this guy on the ATRT. Let's put him on there right now. How dope does that look? This is definitely one of the cooler, I think, small size vehicles that we've seen. Never really was a huge fan of them in the Clone Wars, but you know, I'm a big enough man to admit when I've changed my opinion. And I think they looked awesome in the movie, and it looks really, really cool now. I love the way that guy sits up there. It looks really fantastic. I had to finesse it a little bit to get it just right, but fortunately the figure is super articulated, and he's, you know, the design on the seat here is very, you know, pretty user-friendly. So I didn't really have a huge problem getting him seated up there. Oops, this thing does fall off very easily, so be careful. But yeah, it looks really great. We can take a closer look at the ATRT itself now. It's got a little bit of articulation here and there, so this center gun does swivel up and down a little bit, which is cool. The handles do also swivel, so you can like have them actually driving it, which is sweet. There's a sort of smaller handle underneath this too. I don't know if that's supposed to be like the brake or something, but it's just attached to the same point of articulation. Then each leg has, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4 points of articulation. So up here, here, and then the knees are a little stiff, but they do move, and then the ankles. So you can get a lot of cool different poses with this guy. But the detailing on the ATRT itself is fantastic. Some great paint apps, some cool weathering, especially, you know, up here. You can see how the paint's kind of weathered away like that. That looks really cool. Great coloring overall. The feet are nice too. They're almost like kind of frosted over the way that's painted, and then by the time it gets to the knees, you can see it's worn off. So I kind of wish that had been there'd been a little bit more of that, but you know, it makes sense. Obviously, it's going to be, the snow is going to be more prominent on the feet down there. But there's some great sculpting. Got like these rocket mortar system things over here. This cool little antenna, which looks like it's removable, but I don't think it actually is. But that's okay. And then if you look over the guy, there's some paint work on the control panels in here. Nothing actually on the screens. So you just imagine it's off, I guess. But the buttons are all painted pretty colors, which is really fun. The main gun itself, oh, I'm sorry. It's got two points of articulation. So it swivels up and down and left and right. Huh, look at that. But as you can see, it's painted a slightly different color. More of a gun metallic-y gray, and it's got a cool sculpt to it. It's got some weird indents in it here and there, but if you're just looking at it head on, you don't notice that. So yeah, overall, I'd say this is really, really cool, really fun. I think they can get a lot of use out of this thing. Hoping that they'll repaint this Clone Wars one. I know I said I wasn't a huge fan at first, but it's this is a great vehicle, and it would be a shame if they don't get more use out of this over at Hasbro. Only complaint I really have is this antenna looks a little, kind of like they phoned it in a bit. And then some of these joints, they're not the worst. The screw is kind of an eyesore, but overall I don't really have any complaints for the actual appearance of the ATRT itself. Oops. Yeah, really, really cool looking vehicle. Super happy with this. Yeah, so that's the Imperial Remnant ATRT with Imperial Remnant ATRT driver. Big fan of this. Fantastic small vehicle. I think this is pretty much the perfect small vehicle they could have put out for the Mando and Grogu movie. I know I would have liked the Anzellan ship too, but that's kind of a reach. This is like the perfect one because they're going to get so much reuse out of this if they play their cards right. So good call, Hasbro. Really, really nice. Please don't forget about this one. Would love to see more of this in various Clone Wars repaints. I also really like the stand that it came with. I think that's really clever. It's not something I ever would have thought of, but the posing capabilities are, quadrupled with that stand. You can get this guy in some awesome shots. So photographers out there, I think you're going to really have a lot of fun with this. Also love the figure too. I think it's rare that both the vehicle and the included figure slap, but they're both 10 out of 10s as far as I'm concerned. Really, really happy with this overall. I was worried they were going to pack a Mandalorian in with this thing, and definitely glad that they didn't. This is a much better choice. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you to my Patreon subscribers. Be sure to follow on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out the Patreon page, and don't forget, stay hammered.